Zombie Hunter, Diary of a Warrior in the Zombie Wars, written by Jeff Child, narrated by John H. Feskins. Introduction. In this diary, a zombie hunter tells his story. His uncaring, anti-hero attitude adds some tough flavor to the settings in which he picks his weapons and demonstrates his ability to take out all the undead that cross his path. Read about Sawyer, a guy who has learned to chill and kill, and to protect the Ferrith lands from the dreaded undead with his rough background and no-nonsense methods. Chapter 1. My Profession. My name is Sawyer, and I am a zombie hunter. I've been doing it for years, and I don't care about anything else. This is the life that I am familiar with. I wait, I kill, and I get paid. I protect the citizens of this great country against the impulsive invasions of the undead. You never know where they are going to show up, and you never know how many of them there will be. I don't know what turns humans into zombies. I really don't. That's not my field. Researchers and lab guys have been intrigued by this their entire lives. To each his own, right? If they want to sit in a laboratory all day, then that's their decision. Not me, though. I make sure those detested derelicts stay in the status they should be in. Dead. How do I do it, you ask? Oh, I got my methods. I slice them, shoot them, chop them, stab them. It's an art and a profession of decision and anticipation. You have to be quick. Some of those zombies were probably warriors themselves before they became the filthy monsters they are today, and so their alertness and battle skills are impressive. Well, for a zombie. I use various weapons. I don't like to stay with one particular favorite. Differentiating makes a difference. It keeps the job interesting, and it challenges me to improve and broaden my expertise. Let's go through the list, shall we? I have pickaxes, swords, battle axes, shovels to bang them on the head, knives, bows and arrows, and maces. Okay, I don't use them all the same amount of time, and I think I mostly end up with a sword and a few knives if nothing else, but you get the point. My home is a weapon room, and I love it. I was never good with emotions. It used to bug me when kids cried all the time. I've learned to be tough in life. My parents were still together, but they were hard on me. I learned to just deal with problems, not to whine about it and feel sorry for myself. I guess that's why I chose the profession that I did. People who are too fragile or wimpy don't take this job. They know that somehow, someday, they will see a zombie that has too much of a resemblance to someone they know, and then they hesitate. I never hesitate. Never. When a zombie comes running at me, I go for the kill. I don't doubt, I don't waver. I know what has to be done, and I am more than willing to do it. So now you know a little something about me. I am single, and I wish to stay that way. I am young, and I just want to get some cash. Killing zombies is an excellent way to do that. Can you guess how much the city or village mayors are willing to pay me to exterminate the zombies that attack their towns? Don't even think you can guess. Let's just stop talking about it. Suffice it to say that I make a decent living. It's awesome. Awesome is exactly what I want to be. It's what I always aspired to become, nothing less. And being awesome is something you can't do by talking or making claims. Talk is cheap. Taking action is the only way to improve yourself, and that's what I've been doing my whole life. Now, are you ready for an awesome story? A story where I faced one of my biggest challenges? Brace yourself. Here it goes. Chapter 2. The Toughest Kill I've Ever Made. You may expect a heroic narrative of epic battles and fast, action-packed scenes when I tell you that I want to share with you the toughest kill I've ever made. You might expect a monstrous, gigantic zombie who is indestructible and 3 times the size of the others, but it wasn't. My toughest kill wasn't such a tough persona. It was tough for me because, for the last time, I had a hard time with my decision to do the right thing. Why? My feelings got in the way. It was actually kind of tragic. If you can't stand a little sorrow or suffering, then stop reading at this point, because this is a sad story. Remember how much I hate crying? So toughen up and let it go. Things happen, and happy endings are realistic, but they can be disrupted by the occasional misfortunate occurrence. It was one of my best friends. Well, he was kind of annoying, but he still didn't deserve to die. He was the kind of guy that would burp loudly in public and hit on the ladies with only a disgusted response awaiting him. No, he wasn't a nice dude. He was a jerk. But for some reason, we got along quite well. And no, he didn't deserve to die, especially not the way he did. It was on a Friday. Both he and I had been in the pub for a few hours, and we were just joking around. I came to find out that he was a skeleton hunter, and that his frequent visits to the underworld matched my trips to faraway towns to solve the zombie problems there. I remember it so vividly. At a certain point, he said, "Sawyer, with your job, you can't try to connect to others too much. It will kill you psychologically." "What do you mean?" I asked. "I mean that sometimes you'll have to choose between what's right and what's easy. You cannot save everyone. You realize that, don't you?" "I didn't expect you to be so serious," I said. "You are always offending people with your indecent jokes. Why are you lecturing me?" "Look," he said, "I'm not happy. I am waiting for that glorious moment when I can be released from the tragedies of this life. The afterlife is waiting for me. Do you know why I do what I do?" "I don't have the slightest idea, so enlighten me," I said. "My wife got killed by a skeleton. Don't worry, no kids were left behind. But I can't tell you how much anger I am still holding inside of me towards those creatures. The best way I knew how to deal with it was to start killing them for a living. I have been to the underworld, a hellish, infernal place, and I have saved several people from being overcome by the same fate, but sometimes I am too late." "That must be hard." "Are you listening to me?" he asked, as he grabbed my shoulders and shook me a little. "It will happen to you. You have to live with the disappointment. You cannot let yourself go soft, buddy." "Okay, I get it. I will keep it in mind," I said. After that, we didn't speak another word. I felt for him. I knew he had wished to die so many times, but that he stayed alive to protect others, a noble thing to do. But then it happened. It happened so quickly that I still recall the astonishment and the rush I felt. Zombies were attacking the village. Oh, and by the way, did I mention that there were only about 30 people in that village? Yes, it was more like a fork in the road than an actual village, more like a hamlet. Anyway, as always, I carried around a number of weapons. I had a knife in my pocket and a pickaxe on my back. I never go anywhere without something to defend myself with, and this day was no different. And that evening, I made sure to use them, because when the zombies attacked, I had no time to run home. They stormed in. Rawr! The ones in the pub were first, and I heard people yell and scream from the homes in that little hamlet. I drew my pickaxe from my back and held it in front of me. I looked at my friend, the skeleton slayer. He already had a sword ready and had killed a couple of zombies before I could even blink my eyes. What a tough guy. "Come and get it, zombies!" I yelled, and I stepped forward, cutting one of them in half. "Nice to see us working together," my friend said. "I'll tell you what, you take out the male zombies and I'll take out the female zombies. It seems like you care a bit more about who you kill anyway." I was a little hurt that he thought of me like some pathetic wuss who would care about something like that, but I accepted his offer nonetheless. We hacked and slashed, and the zombies were still coming in. Within minutes, the entire pub was filled with townspeople who had been turned into zombies and were now turning on us. Suddenly, I heard a cry from the other side of the room. "Ah!" "Hey, what's going on?" I asked. "Oh, one of the zombies bit me, Sawyer. You have to finish me off." It was my friend. I looked to the left. I looked to the right. There weren't that many zombies left. My friend was kneeling down. His weapon had dropped. Everything became blurry, as if a slow-motion effect was being put on my life. I hacked at another zombie in front of me and kicked another one through the window as I ran forward. I bent over and put my arm on my friend's shoulder and asked him how he was doing. "This is it, Sawyer," he said. "It was good to meet you. I am ready to meet my wife in the afterlife." "What are you talking about, man? We can get help. You'll be all right." "You know I won't be," he said laughingly. "It doesn't matter. I knew this would happen someday. Go ahead. Finish me. Don't let me become one of them." "But I don't want to end your life. Come on," I said. "This isn't right. There has to be something we can do." Then he grabbed me by my shirt, looked me straight into my eyes, and said, "Toughen up, Sawyer. Do what needs to be done. Stop caring and do it." I killed him. I closed my eyes when I did it. Yeah, that was the toughest kill I've ever made. I still remember it so well. His name was Jake. Chapter 3. The Good Life. After this cheerful anecdote, I hope you understand that my life isn't all misery and darkness. You see, Jake wanted to meet his wife again, and he firmly believed in heaven. He was ready, and he had done his part. Besides, after this, I did exactly as he said. It was a valuable lesson for me. I toughened up, and I distanced myself from friendships. Now, that may not be the best thing to do for everyone, but for me, it became a convenient lifestyle. The good life, that's what I called it. Stop caring, stop thinking, and just do it. That was kind of my motto. I've lived this way for a long time, and I don't get tired of it. Do you want to know where I get my excitement from? Action. It's all about the action. I love it when the enemy seems larger and unbeatable. I love a challenge. I love the rush of cheating death over and over again, and I especially crave the adrenaline that flows through my body each time I chop off the head of one of those mindless, ugly zombies. It gives me a sense of satisfaction that I don't think I could find anywhere else. And then there is another thing. I have plenty of money. That's right, I am pretty loaded, so when I have to choose between inns, I can afford the most luxurious one. I give to beggars when I see them, I buy fruit at the markets when I feel like it, and I change weapons and clothes when I need a different style. It's all part of the good life. The freedom to spend whatever I want, and not having to care about saving up or paying the bills. My cabin where I live is fairly cheap anyway. I started living there because I didn't need a big home, and it's good enough. The third thing that excites me in life is the perfection challenge. I have yet to learn so many moves it's not even funny. After having mastered the art of sword fighting and different styles of martial arts, I went into archery, studied the ancient ways of butt-kicking without weapons, and became an expert at maneuvering through hordes of zombies without even touching them. Everything is interesting. Curiosity drives me, and I often reflect on my combat skills after another day of cleaning up the streets of some victimized town by those undead creeps. So there you have it. I love my life, and even though you could say I am alone a lot, I don't get lonely. I get a kick out of the action every time. I have enough wealth to keep me happy, and I improve my skills and knowledge about the ancient fighting arts each day. Sounds good, doesn't it? Well, it was, until something went terribly wrong. Chapter 4. Alarming Events. It was a dawning day full of doom and despair. It had never been like this before. I mean, the Ferrithlands had had their problems, but not like this. And even for me, it would be an immense obstacle to the survival of our species, mankind. I woke up that day feeling normal and prepared to eat a good meal. I had several breakfast items in my cupboards, and I immediately cooked some bacon and eggs to fill my stomach. As soon as I was done with that, I went to my little training room. But as I was practicing my moves in front of the mirror, I became aware of something that was coming for me. Bang! The door flew open. I was startled. No later than a few seconds afterwards, Zombies were all over my house. They knocked over my assets and furniture. With my sword, I kept them at a considerable distance. "Stay back!" I yelled as I killed a few of them. When I glanced at my kitchen area, however, I felt really stupid. I had left the stove on. It was a miracle nothing had happened before. The gas was leaking and the zombies were bumping into flammable objects, making the danger something to be taken seriously. That's when I ran out of my cabin. I took the back door on the other end, the emergency exit in my small training room, and ran as fast as I could. When I looked behind me, boom! The remains of the structure collapsed after exploding into 1,000 pieces. I fell onto the ground. I covered my head, making sure that no debris would fall on me. A few seconds later, I looked back. "My beautiful cabin," I said. "I just barely paid it off. I definitely know who is going to pay for this. Those stupid zombies." This was it. I had nothing to lose now. I guess it was kind of my fault, but those zombies had been blocking my way. If they hadn't come, I would have done something about the stove. But it was gone now. My money had all been in that house. It was gone, all gone. I checked one more time to make sure, but I couldn't find anything valuable that hadn't been turned into ashes. I felt empty-handed, almost naked, in a metaphoric way. I was left with nothing. Where did those zombies come from? It made no sense. "Revenge," I said. "It's not just business anymore. This time, it's personal." And that's when I decided to get to the bottom of it. I went to the closest town, only to discover that there weren't many people left. When I asked a random pedestrian on the street what had happened there, the answer was, zombies. So I left. I went to another town. I walked for 2 hours and found the little village undergoing the same dilemma. Again, I asked some woman who walked outside what was going on. Her answer? Zombies. So I went to the city, and even there, when I arrived, I saw some homes lying in ruins. Others were deserted. People were scared. The streets were relatively empty. I wanted to know everything about it. I knew zombies would occasionally attack in different places, but not all surrounding towns at the same time, and hardly ever in the city. I went straight to the city hall, hoping to find my answers there. When I arrived at the square in front of the building, the mayor was sitting on the stairs that led to the main entrance. "Are you the mayor of this city?" I asked bluntly. "Yes, I am. Who are you?" "My name is Sawyer. I am a zombie hunter, and it seems like your city has been raided by zombies. Am I correct?" Yes, you are. Did you just say you are a zombie hunter?" "I did." "Then you are who we need, my friend. Please come inside and I will explain everything." I was still suspicious. I wanted more answers, and this random figure didn't have them for me yet. So I asked, "Why were you sitting on the stairs here? Don't you have better things to do?" "Actually," he began, "I was kind of out of it. I asked my counselors for a break. I needed some fresh air. There have been so many problems coming at us that I didn't know what to do, but I am grateful that you are here. Perhaps you can help us. But don't worry about it now. We will answer all your questions in the meeting room." And that's when I shut up and just followed him. Chapter 5. The disease was spreading. I entered the meeting room in the great city hall. It was a modest room with seats and a table, like any meeting room should be. With my sword on my back and a knife in my pocket, I was certainly the one person that stood out amongst these posh bureaucrats. "Mr. Mayor, who is this?" one of the counselors asked. "This man is the solution to our problems, gentlemen," the mayor said. Then he turned to me and said, "Please have a seat." I sat down and stared some of these educated individuals in the eyes. They weren't too sure about my rough look and my dusty outfit, and when they saw the big sword on my back, I think some of them became somewhat nervous as well. "Gentlemen," the mayor began, "this is Sawyer. He is a zombie hunter. Tell them what you do, Sawyer." "Like he said, I hunt zombies." "Elaborate, please." Well, I stab them, I cut them to pieces, I break them in half, I pound them to pieces. Okay, we get it, we understand, the mayor said, interrupting my graphic description of the everyday onslaught that typified my life. Sawyer is the answer to our problems. He will hunt down the zombies for us and make them disappear. Won't you, Sawyer? Sure, but I have a question. How come there are so many of them? It's not normal. That's a good question, the mayor said. Several days ago, zombies were spotted, but they weren't regular zombies. As you may know already, a human being can turn into a zombie after being bitten, but these zombies were different. All they had to do was sneeze, and the people would become infected instantly. It was a disaster. The disease was spreading like wildfire. People were panicking. Entire towns were being turned into zombie towns. Men and women left their homes and fled to the city, but even here we couldn't hold them all back. Many of us hid in our homes, and the zombies vanished from the city, but I know they will be back. They are assaulting other surrounding towns as we speak. Something must be done. And what makes you think I can stop that? If they sneeze on me, I will turn into a zombie too. Did you think of that? We have created a vaccine. It is being given to people at this moment. A lot of my messengers and servants are taking this antidote to all people in the nation. So at least that is being taken care of. The disease will stop spreading. The antidote is being transported everywhere. Then why do you need me? If you're already handling it, then what's my role? We are willing to pay you if you kill the zombies. Just because we are immune to becoming a zombie doesn't mean that we aren't in danger. There is still a whole army of zombies out there. Makes sense, I said. We discussed the payment and the terms of the contract. Everything else was clear to me. This was what I was looking for. Now I could kill these zombies to get my vengeance and to get money. Wow, what else does a guy need, right? Chapter 6. Interesting side note. As I talked some more with the mayor and one or two of his less suspicious counselors, I began to understand where and when all this drama with the zombies had started. It was several decades ago. Personal hygiene was pathetic, and nobody knew about bacteria. It was only after this incident that people comprehended the significance of washing hands and other precautions against illnesses. The result was the Black Plague, a terrible disease that took the lives of many. Nobody knew the cure, and in order to create a cure, lab scientists started fiddling around with chemicals. Nothing could have been worse for mankind than what they did. They injected needles, threw potions on the floor, and combined the elements of the Ferrith lands to create an antidote. If only they knew what they would unleash by doing so. The first signs were increased aggression and disturbed mental behavior. The scientists should have stopped with the experiments at that point, but the authorities kept pressuring them to keep going, and they did. Once the virus took over, it was too late. Zombies were a fact, and since then, zombies have been part of life. They always attack in groups or hordes, but the hordes have never been big enough to swipe out entire villages. That's why I was always able to stand my ground and kill as many of them as was necessary without getting killed. Interesting, huh? Yes, I thought so myself. But now times have changed. The hordes have become bigger. Their numbers have increased, and for some reason they have shown different behavior than before. They stick together, forming huge hordes that crash through any town, any city, and any stronghold. There are hundreds of them, and everyone fears them. And then they turned to me, their last hope. I knew not to let them down. They were going to have the best show of their lives. Bring it on, zombies! Chapter 7. The Biggest Killing Spree in History. It was early in the morning. It was the day after I met with the mayor and his counselors. All of them had high expectations. The city didn't have many soldiers, and they were all too scared of the zombies. Bunch of wimps. They relied on me and on me only. This was my moment to shine or to die. Either way, with a sense of desperation, the feeling of a guy who lost everything but still wants to fight back, that feeling, I went and stood my ground. And if that wasn't bad enough, then listen to this. The whole city, or however many people were left in it, came to watch. Thousands of them. They were standing on the city walls and were cheering me on. There I was, outside the city walls, on a visible giant grass field awaiting my doom. I closed my eyes and put my hands in some kind of meditation position. The hordes were coming. We all knew it. The city walls were airtight, and everyone hoped that I would be able to stop these monsters from invading their fortified habitat. The city gates were closed, even though that didn't stop the zombies last time, and the soldiers were watching with the commoners. When I opened my eyes, I glanced at the mayor. His eyes were big. He didn't know what to think, but when he saw the determination in my eyes, I knew that he knew for sure that he had made the right decision. It was one of those almost telepathic moments. There they were, the hordes of zombies. At first, only a few appeared on the horizon, then dozens, then hundreds, and this army of the undead grew larger and larger. I spat out a piece of gum I was chewing. I tightened the headband around my head, and I took the sword from my back and the knife from my pocket. Its shiny surface was reflected in the sun, and an epic, dramatic moment had begun. I walked forward at the horde that was running at me. Then I increased my pace, and when I came closer, I sprinted towards them. "Ah!" I yelled. "Die, zombies, die!" Tsiyak! My sword cut through a bunch of them, and within a tiny glimpse, they were all focused on me. I slashed, I cut, I punched, and I kicked. I threw some of them away and used others as a shield when they were fighting back. Bang, clash, thud. The fight went on and on. I had never faced so many zombies at the same time. It was a new milestone for me, and the chances of dying were so high that I stopped caring. Occasionally, I got a fist in my face or a zombie who was trying to eat me. During my kicking and yelling and slashing, I made sure that none of them came close enough with their teeth. One time, however, one of the zombies came too close. He almost bit me, and I was glad I stepped back just in time. That was close, I told myself, after which I punched him in the face. The zombies became overwhelming. They all attacked me at the same time. On a pile of dead, undead bodies, I was fighting them off one by one. But I knew I wouldn't last long. They jumped at me and piled up on me, pinning me to the ground and making me lose my sword. Between the arms, the legs, and the corpses, I desperately reached for my blade. Useless. Too far away. I had to do something. Then I remembered that I had another spare knife hidden in the back of my boot. I had always kept that one there, just in case, and I totally forgot about it up to this point. I wiggled my hand down and tugged at the knife. "Got it," I said. After nearly choking underneath the dozens of zombies on my body, I was finally able to cut through several of them and fight my way back to the surface. I dove to my sword, grabbed it, and faced the monstrous enemies again. "You thought you were done with me? Think again!" I yelled loudly. The zombies were decreasing in numbers. Piles of zombie corpses were joined by other falling foes. The slaughter was incredible, the massacre immense, and the likelihood of this ever happening again was practically zero. I was like a ferocious beast. I was caught up in the most adrenaline I had ever felt in my life. I hacked and slashed and stabbed as if I had an endless flow of energy running through my veins. And then it almost stopped. Only a few zombies were still standing. Some of them had already run away. Others were looking at me with doubts in their empty, brainless heads. 2 of them came at me in a final attempt to take me out. Stab! Stab! Bad idea on their part, because they died that instant. The others ran away. "Is that all you've got?" I said, catching my breath. I wanted to shout more taunting one-liners, but I didn't have it in me. I collapsed. I fell to the ground, drained from the numerous strikes and the devastating limits of the human body. I was exhausted, and I passed out. it became black. Chapter 8. Back on my way. I woke up. I slowly opened my eyes. A lot of people were standing around me. They were the city people who had been watching. I felt like a gladiator in an arena. Me against the zombies. That was what it had come down to. What were the odds that I would win this? But when I saw all those people, I knew that I had won. I was victorious. I gained consciousness, and I was happy to see how many of them were proud of me. They cheered. They were impressed, and they wanted to celebrate. "Congratulations," the mayor said. "I can't believe you pulled it off. It's hard to express in words what you did here. You saved us from the zombie horde, and we are indebted to you. Tell me what you want, and I will try to arrange it for you." "Water," I said. "What?" the mayor asked. "Water. I am thirsty." The mayor got someone to fetch some water. When he came back, I felt in heaven. Can you imagine how much I had been sweating during that severe fight? I felt like I was dying from dehydration, but when the water arrived, I drank my heart out. When I was done, I had renewed strength. I looked at them. I nodded, and I accepted the payment from the mayor. Then I walked away. "You're not going to celebrate?" the mayor asked. "Nope," I said without looking back. "But the people want you to socialize with them." "Don't feel like it," I said. "Oh, come on, are you sure?" "Yep." And that was it. I got what I wanted, money and revenge. I didn't want to get emotionally attached to all these people. Why would I care? If I did, I would only end up killing them or watching them die sometime in my life when they would turn into zombies themselves. Hey, don't get me wrong. I cared about their well-being, which was part of the reason why I accepted the assignment in the first place, but part of me didn't want to have a broken heart. Makes sense, doesn't it? So yes, I left, and I kept it at that. I know it's not over. I'm pretty certain that there are still zombies in other parts of the country, and that's okay. It keeps me going. It gives me something to do. Come and get it, suckers. I'm waiting for my next mission. My name is Sawyer, and I am a zombie hunter. I've been doing it for years, and I don't care about anything else. The end. This has been Zombie Hunter, Diary of a Warrior in the Zombie Wars, written by Jeff Child, narrated by John H. Feskins. Copyright 2017 by Jeff Child. Production copyright 2017 by Jeff Child.